Halo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kembali lagi di channel saya, Susanti Amalia. Kali ini saya akan membahas modul 4 UPPPG, yaitu tentang English for Entertainment. Nah, di mana di English for Entertainment ini ada 4 pembahasan, yaitu biography, historical recount, fables, and legends. Oke, sebelum mulai saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada teman-teman yang udah subscribe, dan kepada yang belum subscribe, jangan lupa untuk di-subscribe ya. Subscribe itu gratis kok. Oke. Nah, sebelum ke latihan-latihan soal, saya akan membahas singkat saja tentang beberapa teks yang akan dijelaskan di sini. Yaitu yang pertama itu adalah tentang teks biography. Nah, apa sih biography itu? Biography atau simply bio is detailed description of a person's life. Oke, jadi biografi ini menceritakan atau mendeskripsikan tentang kehidupan seseorang. It involves more than just the basic facts like education, work, relationship, and death. Jadi di sana nanti di deskripsinya itu diceritakan seperti hal-hal basic seperti pendidikan, pekerjaan, atau hubungan, relation, dan juga kematian jika orang tersebut memang sudah meninggal ya. Jadi biografi ini biasanya menceritakan orang-orang yang mempunyai atau memiliki jasa terhadap dunia gitu ya. Nah, karena di sini juga dijelaskan bahwa biographies are the one genre that can open their eyes and hearts to people who have made a difference in the world. They can learn about lives and eras both of past and present. Jadi, mengapa ada teks biografi ini? Untuk kita membaca bahwa orang-orang seperti itu tuh berjasa kepada dunia ini, dan kita juga bisa menjadikan itu suatu perubahan ya di masa yang akan datang. Oke. Nah, karakteristiknya untuk biografi ini adalah is not written by subject and is always written in third person. Jadi ditulisnya itu oleh orang ketiga ya. In other words, biographical texts are not made by people who are being told their life history, but are told by other people in the perspective of third people. Jadi diceritakannya oleh perspektif dari orang ketiga gitu ya. Oke, itu adalah tentang biografi. Nah, selanjutnya adalah historical recount. Nah, what is historical recount? Historical recount is closely related to the history of a place or an object which is very memorable and considered important throughout life. Jadi menceritakan suatu sejarah tentang tempat atau tentang suatu benda yang memorable ya. Jadi memiliki kenangan yang tidak bisa dilupakan atau mempunyai peran penting dalam kehidupan ini. Nah, fungsinya itu adalah to describe past historical experiences by retelling chronological events by involving the important dates, characters, as well as place of the events. Jadi di historical recount ini nanti dijelaskan retelling chronological events. Jadi kejadian-kejadian secara kronologis, tanggal penting, karakternya yang ada di sana. Nah, itu diceritakan di historical recount ini ya. Oke, jadi teks yang kedua adalah tentang historical recount. Nah, selanjutnya adalah fable. What is fable? A fable is a fictional story, poems, or prose. Jadi fable itu cerita fiksi ya bisa berupa prosa atau berupa puisi with a specific moral or lesson that is conveyed to the reader. Jadi kalau untuk fable itu ada moral lessonnya dalam suatu cerita fable. Nah, perbedaannya dengan naratif teks itu apa? Fables are stories intended to teach a lesson, and animals often speak and act like human beings. Jadi kalau di fable itu ceritanya seolah-olah hewan-hewan itu bisa berbicara seperti human. Nah, kalau di naratif itu karakter dari naratif itu semuanya human, jadi manusia ya. Nah, kalau di fable itu hewan-hewan. Oke. Itu fable. Next dan terakhir itu legend. Legend is a story or narrative that lies somewhere between myth and historical fact, and which as a rule is about a particular figure or person. Jadi untuk legend ini ceritanya sama naratif. Nah, naratif tapi ada unsur mitosnya dan unsur sejarahnya gitu ya. Traditionally, a legend is a narrative that focuses on historically or geographically specific figure and describes his exploits. Jadi biasanya bersejarahnya itu tentang suatu tempat atau suatu daerah, nah atau suatu tokoh gitu ya, dan menceritakan tentang asal usul suatu daerah biasanya seperti itu atau tokoh gitu ya. Nah, itu perbedaannya antara legend. Oke, what is the difference between a legend and a myth? Nah, there are marked differences between a legend and a myth. While legends are made-up stories, myths are stories that answer questions about the working of natural phenomenon. Jadi kalau legend itu biasanya ceritanya dibuat atau jadi orang-orang tuh percaya bahwa itu ceritanya gitu ya. Kalau myth itu biasanya berhubungan dengan fenomena alam. Nah, itu perbedaannya antara legend dan juga myth. Oke. Nah, tadi udah sesingkat dibahas tentang biografi, historical recount, fable, and legend. Sekarang kita mulai ke contoh-contoh soalnya ya. Oke. Di sini ada contoh soal. Nah, saya akan berikan triksnya bagaimana cara menjawab teks-teks yang panjang-panjang tapi kita tidak terkecoh gitu ya. Oke, kita mulai aja. Seperti biasa, untuk tips yang pertama itu kita langsung ke pertanyaannya. Pertanyaannya, what is the text about? Setelah kita baca pertanyaannya, kita lihat nih analisis jawabannya. A biography, the family, the death, a spirit of general. Oke, nah kita harus fokus di sini. Apa yang ditanyakannya itu the text. Oke, teks itu kan tadi macam-macam teks berarti yang ditanya. Berarti jawabannya biografi karena macam-macam teks tadi kan ada biography, historical recount, ada legend, ada fable. Nah, di sini yang ada itu hanya biografi. Berarti jawabannya adalah A ya. Oke, selanjutnya, how was Sudirman selected as the leader? Oke, nah di sini kita harus baca nih. Pertanyaannya adalah how was Sudirman selected as the leader? By a vote, chosen by Urip Sumoharjo, by his own idea, by the military commander in chief. Oke, berarti kita harus baca nih bagaimana ya, pertanyaannya bagaimana Sudirman itu terpilih ya. Di sini kita cari yang ada kata-kata yang menunjukkan di sini ada election. Oke, kita baca ya. On 12 November 1945 at an election to decide the military commander in chief in Yogyakarta. Oke, berarti ini enggak saya. Bahis on enggak mungkin ya. Oke, berarti antara dua ini. The 24 years old Sudirman was chosen over Urip Sumarjo in a close vote. Oke, berarti di sini ya. Di sini nih by a vote atau chosen by Urip Sumarjo. Jadi di sini jawabannya adalah chosen by Urip Sumarjo. Kenapa enggak by a vote? Karena di sini suaranya enggak satu ya. Jadi suaranya tuh nggak satu yang milihnya gitu. Kalau by a vote berarti oleh satu suara, sedangkan di sini yang milih kan banyak. Nah, close vote di sini artinya hasilnya itu hampir setara gitu ya. Nah, dengan ini berarti jawaban yang paling tepat di antara ini adalah chosen by Urip Sumarjo. Oke, next. What can we infer from the text? Oke, ketika ada pertanyaan what can we infer berarti sama dengan apa kesimpulan dari teks tersebut. Oke, berarti kita satu-satunya analisisnya. His uncle's name was also Sudirman. Apakah iya? Sudirman was a ranking Indonesia. Oke, he was commander. Di sini Sudirman nggak dijelaskan ya bahwa angkalnya itu namanya Sudirman. January is the month of Maulud. Kayaknya ini nggak relate gitu ya. Nah, paling antara dua ini. Sudirman was shot and died in the military war. Kita lihat di sini apakah iya. biasanya di bawah nih kalau misalkan ini. Oke, in late 1949 Sudirman tuberculosis returned and he retired to Magelang. Oke, berarti meninggalnya itu Sudirman bukan karena shoot ya, atau bukan ditembak, tapi karena penyakit tuberkulosis. Berarti jawaban yang benar adalah D. Oke, next number 4. How can you learn from him? Oke, bagaimana jadi kita tuh belajar dari sosok Jenderal Sudirman ini? Apa? He always sick. Sebenarnya kita nggak usah baca ini, tapi kita cari yang positif aja artinya ya. He was always sick berarti enggak ya. He was a brave man bisa. He was retired enggak. He was lazy good berarti brave man. Nah, itu tipsnya. Jadi kalau misalkan kita bisa menganalisis optionnya, kalau semuanya positif berarti kalau semuanya negatif berarti yang dipilih adalah yang positif artinya. Oke, yang ini ya. Oke, which sentence is the correct one? Oke, kita analisis nih. He passed away in his young age. Oke, he always fought with Urip Sumahodjo. Enggak ya, enggak dijelaskan. He had tuberculosis in his 27. His cemetery is in Ambarawa. Oke, di sini enggak ya, he's buried at Semaki Heroes, berarti enggak di Ambarawa. Nah, antara ini dan ini kita lihat nih apakah benar tuberkulosisnya itu pada tahun 27. Nah, di sini ada in late 49, di sini 49, di sini 24 tahun. Sudirman itu 45. Berarti kalau ke 49, nah selisihnya ada berapa? Ada 4 ya. Berarti bukan 27 tahun, berarti 28 tahun. Berarti jawaban yang benar A. Nah, itu. Jadi jangan terkecoh oleh hal seperti ini. Kita juga harus harus benar-benar detail gitu ya untuk menghitung kalau yang ada tahun-tahunnya seperti ini. Oke, next. Nah, ini teksnya beda lagi. Every American is proud of the Statue of Liberty as a symbol of freedom. Oke, kita analisis dulu nih. Ini kira-kira teksnya tentang apa? Nah, atau ini jenis teksnya apa? Apakah ini biography? Apakah ini historical recount? Ataukah ini fable atau legend? Ya, ini adalah historical recount karena menjelaskan tentang Statue of Liberty. Oke, nah, what is the object of the text? Oke, kita tahu ya di sini di paragraf pertama, di kalimat pertama juga ada di sini menjelaskan tentang Statue of Liberty. Lalu what is the function of the text? Nah, ini jangan terkecoh. Jadi gini, untuk 4 jenis teks itu kan tadi ada biographical, historical recount, legend, dan juga fable. Itu kan for entertain, untuk menghibur. Nah, jadi kalau misalkan ada pertanyaan fungsi dari teks ini, ingat fungsi dari teks bukan isi dari teksnya ya, tapi fungsi dari teksnya itu apa? Nah, berarti untuk entertain ya. Kalau ada entertain, nah itu fungsinya. Jadi bukan isi dari teksnya itu untuk apa. Nah, itu hati-hati jangan terkecoh. Oke. Number 3, it can be inferred from the passage that the monument is. Nah, di sini kita harus menyimpulkan nih. Ya, invert monumen itu adalah apa? The monument is a statue of copper plates, a steel frame, a woman in the sky, a statue of a woman. Nah, kalau misalkan kita baca aja ya, tapi kita tahu kalau misalkan mempunyai pengetahuan lebih tentang patung Liberty, kan itu patung a statue of perempuan yang pegang obor ya. Nah, di sini kita juga bisa melihat dengan menganalisis teksnya nih. It shows a woman in a robe wearing crown holding a torch. Nah, berarti ini adalah statue of a woman ya. Next, what was the reason for the French give the Statue of Liberty to America? Nah, jadi ini kan Statue of Liberty ini diberikan oleh Prancis ya kepada Amerika. Nah, alasannya tuh apa? Di sini ada nih di paragraf kedua. The Statue of Liberty was built by Frederick Bartholdi. The French gave it to America as a gift in honor of the revolutions for freedom and liberty in both countries. Oke, jadi untuk apa nih? For present American people as present for their struggle. Bisa ya, America need it to great million immigrant. No, kita nggak menjelaskan imigran di sini. Oke, berarti yang benar adalah yang A ya. Oke. Next, di sini teksnya berbeda lagi. Oke. Sebelum menjawab pertanyaannya, kita lihat dulu sekilas ini teks tentang apa atau jenis teksnya itu apa. A story from the farmyard. Two roosters were fighting fiercely to be the king of the farmyard. Oke, ini tentang hewan-hewan yang fighting ya, berarti ini fable. Nah, from the text we know that only one rooster can rule on the roost. The rooster fighting to flap their wings. The eagle had watched all day. The farm is a new king. Oke, kita harus baca nih kalau ini ya. Oke, one finally gained advance and the other surrendered. The losing rooster slunk away and hid itself in a quiet corner. The winner flew up to a high wall, flapped its wings, and crowed its victory as loud as it could. Suddenly an eagle came sailing through the air and carried it off with its talons. The losing rooster immediately came out of its corner and ruled the farmyard from then on. Oke, jadi ini only one rooster can rule the roost? Enggak ya. The rooster I fighting? Enggak ya. The eagle had nabias. Jadi gini, jadi itu ceritanya tuh yang menang itu dia tuh naik ke atas, lalu dia tuh mengepakkan sayapnya, lalu teriak sekencang mungkin. Tiba-tiba ada eagle yang elang yang menangkap si ayam tersebut. Jadi sehingga yang kalah sekarang memerintah karena yang menang tadi dimakan oleh elang. Nah, berarti di sini kita tahu bahwa the eagle had watched them all day ya. Oke. Number 12. What is the main idea of the paragraph 3? Oke, di sini ya. Suddenly an eagle came sailing through the air and carried it off with its talons. Oke. An eagle watching the rooster from a distance. Bisa ya. The losing rooster come out from its hiding place. No. The eagle took the winning rooster as its prey. The winning rooster celebrate its winning proudly. Oke, di sini tuh dijelaskan bahwa carried it off berarti took the winning rooster. Jadi intinya di paragraf 3 itu tuh menjelaskan tentang apa. Nah, di sini tuh menjelaskan tentang bahwa si elang itu datang lalu ngambil gitu. Berarti the eagle took the winning rooster as its prey. Ya, next. What is the problem of the fable above? Problemnya tuh apa? The two chickens. Kita ngebahas chickens ya. Bukan itu problemnya. Oke. The rooster became the ruler. The rooster flapped its wing and crowded its victory. Oke, the two roosters are struggling so rigidly. Oke, yang benar adalah yang D ya. Jadi dua ayam itu kan tadi fighting fiercely ya. Nah, di sini jawabannya. Oke. Next, number selanjutnya. Next, teks selanjutnya nih. Kita langsung aja baca pertanyaannya ya. Why did mouse deer want to go across the river? Nah, mengapa si mouse deer ini ingin pergi ke river? Oke, di sini ada nih. One day a mouse deer was walking by the river. He was very starving because he hadn't eaten since morning. Berarti he was very starving. Berarti he was very hungry ya. What is the social function of the text? Oke, sama yang tadi ya. Jadi karena 4 teks ini for entertain, nah berarti to tell story about animal fungsinya. Kalau untuk ini ya fungsinya to tell story about animal, karena ini apa namanya? Ini adalah teks tentang fable. Oke. Social functionnya. After reading text, we may conclude that the mouse deer was. Oke nih, di sini kita di akhir ya. Atau kita baca sekilas aja. Nah, across the river there was green grassland with young leaves. It seems delicious. Imagine the mouse deer. But how can I get there? I can't swim. The current is very rapid. The mouse deer was figuring out the way how to reach there. Suddenly, he jumped to the air. He then walked to the edge of the river. He didn't see the reflection because the water flowed very fast. He dipped one of his four legs into the water. A few moments later appeared Mr. Crocodile, showing his sharp teeth. Then he laughed, you can run away from me, you will be my tasty lunch, katanya. Jadi mau dimakan sama buaya ya. Of course I can, you are very strong, katanya Mr. Croco. Replied the mouse deer frighteningly. Jadi then the other crocodiles approached, moving slowly. They approached by the edge of the river. But before you all have a party, I wonder how many your members are there in the river. If I know your number exactly, I can distribute my meat evenly, katanya gitu ya. Oh, great, good idea, but we are a large group. I can count it precisely, Mr. Coco moaned. Leave it to me, katanya, and I can make it for you. Now can you ask the others to line up from one edge to the other edge of the river? The mouse deer requested. Then the crocodiles arranged themselves in the line from one edge to the other edge of the river. The mouse deer jumped to the body of one crocodile to the others while he was counting 1, 2, 3 and so forth up to 10. Then at last he arrived at grassland and he thanked to the dumb crocodiles. Oke, jadi ceritanya adalah si mouse deer ini ingin menyeberang tapi ada crocodiles. Nah, crocodiles ini diatur oleh si mouse deer ini supaya berjajar dari ujung ke ujung. Nah, gitu ya. Berarti dia itu apa? Sebenarnya itu mouse deer ini tuh pinter ya. Berarti apa ya? Di sini tuh pilihannya nggak mungkin bodoh, nggak mungkin takut. Nah, tapi bisa pilih yang cunning ya, licik gitu. Jadi tadinya tuh dia tuh mau ya aku siap dimakan gitu, tapi kamu harus berjajar dulu. Nah, sama ya. Oke. Next, how did the story end? Kira-kira gimana nih akhir ceritanya? Crocodile ate mouse deer. Mouse deer ran to the forest. Mouse deer fell into the river. Crocodile laughed at the mouse deer. Oke, yang benar adalah mouse deer ran to the forest karena tadi udah nyebrang lewat tubuh-tubuh si crocodiles ya. Next, teks yang baru lagi nih. Long time ago, the lived on the island of Bali giant. Oke, berarti ini ceritanya tentang apa nih? Kebo Iwo ya. It's kind of legend ya. Oke, which of the following facts is true about Kebo Iwo? Kita cari nih yang benarnya. Kebo Iwo ate a little amount of meat. Kita cari di sini. The people of Bali used to say that Kebo Iwo was everything, a destroyer as well as a creator. He was satisfied with the meal, but this meant for Balinese people enough food for 1,000 men, katanya gitu. Berarti Kebo Iwo is a destroyer that cannot make anything. Kebo Iwo was angry because his food was stolen. Kebo eat food was equal for food of 1,000 people. Oke, yang ini ya. Nah, karena di sini jelaskan bahwa for Balinese people enough for food 1,000 men. Jadi satu kali makan dia itu sama dengan untuk 1,000 orang laki-laki di Bali gitu. Jadi makannya tuh banyak. Why did Kebo Iwo feel angry to the Balinese people? Oke, kita lihat di sini. When for the first time the barns were almost empty and the new harvest was still long way off, this made Kebo Iwo wild with great anger. In his hunger, he destroyed all the houses and even all the temples. It made the Balinese turn to rage. Okay, because Balinese people ate his meal, no ya. Balinese people took his food, no. People didn't give him food. Okay, yang benar adalah because Balinese people didn't give him food. Number 3. According to the story, if Kebo Iwan is never existed in Bali Island, what do you think will happen? Okay. One day he had eaten too much. He fell asleep in the hall. The oldest man in the village gave a sign, and the villagers began to throw the limestone they had collected before into the hall. The limestone made the water inside the hall boiling. Kebo Iwo was buried alive. Then the water in the well rose higher and higher until at last it overflowed and formed Lake Batur. Oke, jadi ngebentuk Lake Batur itu Danau Batur ya. The amount of earth dug from the well by Kebo Iwo is known as Mount Batur. Oke, berarti yang mana nih? There will be no Bali Island? Enggak ya, enggak dijelaskan. Bali people will never be angry? No. All Bali people will live in a prosperous way? Enggak ya. We are not able to see the beauty of Lake Batur. Jadi karena di sini dijelaskan bahwa Lake Batur itu tercipta tadi gara-gara si Kebo Iwo tadi dikurung di sana ya. Oke, next. Masih ceritanya tentang Kebo Iwo. What is the function of the text? Oke, fungsinya adalah untuk, nah seperti tadi ya, menjelaskan bahwa entertain itu adalah to amuse the reader. Oke. What is Mount Batur? Nah, apa itu Mount Batur? Mount of earth dug. Nah, di sini nih. The Mount of earth dug from well by Kebo Iwo. Oke, next. Ceritanya tentang the bear and the two friends. Oke, berarti ini fable ya. What is the genre of the text? Fable. Oke, kita tahu bahwa ini fable. Where you can find the orientation of the story? Orientasi itu pasti ada di paragraf 1. What can get from the story? Oke, kita baca aja optionnya sebelum membaca ceritanya. True friends always listen to you wherever you are. Positif. We have to learn how to climb well. Bear will not harm a dead man. True friend is the one who always support and stand by you in any situation. Oke. Di sini antara D dan A kita baca di sini. Oke, friend, what did Bear tell you? Yes, the other find he advised me not to believe all passive friend. Oke. Jadi di sini ceritanya itu adalah tentang di sini nih. Once two friends were walking through the forest. They knew that anything dangerous can happen to them at any time in the forest. So they promised each other that they would remain united in case of danger. Jadi berjanji bahwa akan selalu bersama ya. Nah, tiba-tiba they saw a large bear approaching them. One of the friends at once climbed a nearby tree. Nah, but the other one did not know how to climb. So being led by his common sense, he lay down on the ground breathless, pretending to be a dead man. Oke, jadi yang satu itu karena bisa naik pohon, jadi langsung naik pohon, tapi lupa akan janjinya itu bahwa kita akan selalu bersama gitu. Berarti di sini what can we get from the story? True friend is one of who always support and stand by you in any situation ya. Number 4, it smelled his ears and slowly left the place. Oke, the underlined word refers to it di sini apa? Oke, the bear came near the man lying on the ground. It, oke, berarti the bear ya. Udah jelas itu mah. Next, he advised me to not believe a false friend. The word false is close meaning to. False itu di sini, oke, false friend. Lebih kepada, oke, fake friend ya. Nah, where did the story happen? Di mana story atau cerita ini terjadi? Kita lihat di sini. Two friends were walking through the forest. Kata lain dari forest apa? In the river, park, woods atau woods. Ya, next. Nah, di sini ada cerita lagi The Spanish Armada. What is the genre of the text? Nah, kira-kira ini genrenya apa? Naratif, folktale, biografi, atau historical recount. Ini adalah tentang cerita the Spanish Armada, berarti historical recount ya. What is the social function of the text? Social function berarti to amuse. Jadi pilihannya to amuse, to entertain. Nah, itu sama ya. In May 1588, Spain was the most powerful country in the world. The word powerful artinya atau closest meaning to influential, big, impressive, atau effective. Nah, yang benar adalah influential ya, mempunyai pengaruh. Nah, who wanted to be the king of England? Kita lihat di sini di paragraf 1 ada nih. In May, Spain was the most powerful country. The King Philip II of Spain, berarti king, prince, atau kings of Spanish ya. Next, where did the battle take place? Di mana perangnya itu terjadi? He ordered large number ship to prepare to set sail and invade England. Jadi ini Spanyol mau ke ini Inggris ya. At first, Queen Elizabeth ignored the rumors of Spanish invasion, but soon she came to realize the great danger. Prepare for battle. Nah, as soon fires were lit on the hills. The Spanish ship got close. English Navy close in and great battle. Di sini nih. Berarti semuanya sama-sama mendekat ya, dan di sini terjadinya di Inggris karena si Spanish ini menyerang Inggris. What is the generic structure of paragraph 2? Generic structure paragraph 2 berarti adalah event yang pertama ya, karena di awal itu orientasi, event lalu reorientation. Number 13, why was it clear that Spanish would lose in the battle? Nah, kenapa di sini kita bisa tahu bahwa si Spanish ini bakal kalah dalam pertempuran ini. Nah, di sini ada di paragraf terakhir. Once the battle began, it was obvious to the Spanish that they would be defeated. Not only did the English sailors have stronger and more powerful ships, they also made terrifying use of fire ships. Berarti apa? Spanish were stronger, English king was powerful, English leader was only queen, English had powerful vessel ya, yang ini. What is the main idea of the last paragraph? The last paragraph tentang apa nih? English troops were sunk, Spanish could defeat English, the English could defeat the Spanish. Yang ini ya. Jadi si Inggris ini bisa menghalau serangan dari Spanish. Next. What is the text about? Kita lihat. Luis Lionel Andres Messi. Berarti tentang Messi ya. Berarti ini ceritanya tentang biografi. What is the social function? To amuse. What paragraph is the orientation of the text? Pasti paragraf pertama. How is Luis Andres Messi? Ya, bagaimana? Kalau ini berarti menceritakan tentang bagaimana di sini tuh dari sini tuh kita bisa lihat dia tuh bagaimana gitu. Nah, di sini apakah he is very short? He never wants to be a footballer. His parents were rich. He had got many achievements. Nah, di sini kalau dari teks biografi ini, karena ini teks biografi bukan teks deskripsi, berarti kita jelas bisa mengetahui di sini tentang si Leo Messi ini ya, bahwa dia itu banyak mempunyai pencapaian. 19. According to the text, Messi's parents moved to Barcelona because they had anything in Argentina, because Messi want to move, to deliver Messi in a good football club, atau to make Messi be treated. Kita baca di sini ya. Nah, he was only the following. Jadi si ini keluarganya tuh Leonomacy was very clear. Okay. If he suffered from hormone deficiency and the parents were unable to pay, okay, he decided to move. Nah, di sini ada nih, decide to move to Barcelona karena mereka itu nggak bisa membayar treatment di Argentina. Berarti di sini to make Messi be treated ya. Jadi pindah aja ke Spanyol gitu supaya Messi ini bisa mendapatkan pelatihannya. Next. Di sini ada teks lagi, yaitu long time ago a very few people live in the new territories ya. Berarti di sini sepertinya menceritakan tentang apa nih? There were only a few village. Oke, ini tentang legend ya, zaman dulu kala gitu ya. Nah, bla 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 disconnected between one village to another long time ago in new territories. Oke. Nah, di sini kita baca nih, there were only few village. If the people want to go from one village to another, they often had to pass through wild and unsafe the forest. Oh, berarti terpisah dari, jadi kedua territories ini terpisah oleh forest ya. Nah, berarti C nih di sini, forest disconnected. What is the purpose? Oke, purpose berarti to entertain. Oke, based on the text, it can be inferred that the village are distant to each other, close to each other, very large area, still mysterious, distant to each other. Okay. They began to run avoid the danger, but Ahtim kicked against the stone and fell down. The word avoid has similar meaning to avoid, itu menghindar. Berarti kalau di sini apa ya? Escape, go away, get in, atau leave. They began to run. Oke, to run, to avoid berarti escape ya. Lari untuk kabur gitu. What did the woman offer to the wolves? Oke, ini harus baca berarti nih. Nah, one day berarti ada wolf-nya ya. Ini ada wolves-nya, berarti led the way and young man followed carrying her baby. Okay, there's a group of wolves. They began to run, avoid the danger, kick again the stone and fell down. The young woman cried to wolf, please eat my own son instead. Jadi katanya dikasih anaknya, berarti her baby. What was the end of the story? Kita baca nih. So she put her baby son on the ground in front of the wolves and took her nephew away. Everyone understood that this was because woman was very good and kind. She had offered her own son's life to save her nephew. They ran back to the house and called for help. All men in the village fed sticks and went back with her into the forest. When they got there, they saw something very strange. Instead of eating the woman's baby, the wolves were playing with him. Oke, berarti apa? The wolves ate villager? No. The wolf ate stick? No. The wolf ate baby? No. The wolf ate nothing ya. Nah, jadi next number 27. What is the text about? Ini Ki Hajar Dewantara. Berarti biografi. What can be inferred about Ki Hajar Dewantara? Sama ya kayak tadi, kita analisis aja jawabannya ya. He was a doctor, belum tuh. He was parent-worthy. He was so smart. He was failed. Ya, he was so smart ya. What is the last paragraph called? Disebutnya reorientation. What is the main idea of the third paragraph? 1, 2, 3. The first Taman Siswa School were established. Berarti yang ada establishnya, the establishment of Taman Siswa. Nah begitu, selesai. Thank you for your attention. Next, saya akan bahas tentang modul 5, yaitu English for Practical Use. Jangan lupa untuk di-subscribe dan tekan loncengnya supaya tidak ketinggalan materi selanjutnya. Share juga ke teman-teman kalian supaya bisa mendapatkan manfaat dan ilmunya dari pembahasan kali ini. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.